Welcome along, everybody, to round 2 of the 2020 EuroNASCAR Esports Series in conjunction with iRacing, with support from i-cin.com, the Sim Racing League, and TJ. We're here at Watkins Glen, this fantastic home, the spiritual home of road racing, you could argue, in the United States of America, for the second race in this new for 2020 Esports Series. The NASCAR Esports Series is the virtual racing series of the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. And the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series is, of course, the official European NASCAR Series at Watkins Glen. So, with the cars getting themselves into position, ready for the start of this race. Mikael Smidl sitting there on pole position. Lasse Sorensen sitting alongside. The black car is Smidl. The white and light green car is Lasse Sorensen. Row number 2, it's black and red for Giorgio Maggi. And Maren Kremers is the black and white and gold car of Feed Vict Racing that sits alongside. So red lights are on. The lights go out as they head over the start-finish line, and it's a good start from Mikael Smidl, who leads the pack up towards the charge and in towards turn number 1 for the first time. Eric Filgueiras all over the grass, makes contact with cars further back. Lots of cars having to take to the outer limits of the circuit, a few of them in the barriers, but Mikael Smidl and Lasse Sorensen have got away with it. Maren Kremers sits there in the 3rd position, and I think Giorgio Maggi just about managed to keep his nose clean as everything disappeared. And we are now heading on towards the final lap. Ferreira's left the door open here for Barnes, and he might be able to go through. And that is just going to allow Ricardo Alita, who is the team photographer for Not Only Motorsports. So we'll guide you through the renumbered cars for this week, because we've got changes to the numbering system for this week. We'll guide you through those at the end of this race, because it's looking very tasty for the final automatic qualification spot. Ricardo Alita, John Barnes and Luigi Ferreira, and now it looks so John Barnes is trying to draw himself alongside. Has he got the inside line for the bus stop? Yes, he has. He's gone through. Great stuff. Sorry, Gordon Barnes has gone through, I should say, and taken the place up. So that was great driving from Gordon Barnes. And now Ricardo Alita finds himself down in 11th position. And that means that he is going to now be faced with heading towards the last chance qualification race that will be our penultimate race of the evening. And I think we might see a further place lost here. Luigi Ferreira also is able to squeeze away of Barnes in the end. So we saw a win for Mikael Smidl. That means that he will automatically go through into the main championship race. So he won't have to worry about anything other than that later on. That's the one that carries the championship points. Lasse Sorensen celebrating, weaving from side to side at the wheel of his Chevy. It's been a great race between the pair of them as they drift the cars back round and in towards pit lane. And Giorgio Maggi finished in a solid 3rd place in the end. Great fun they're having as they bring the cars back down the way. So Andre Castro and Alan Day sitting there on the front row of the grid. Jeffrey Ruffin and Ben Kriener on row number 2, and Bavo Fallon and Simon Pilat sitting there on row number 3. Let's see how this one works its way through. 10-minute race again, remember. The cars in neat order up towards the start-finish line. And it looks as though Jeffrey Ruffin got probably a very good run there on Alan Day. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. Alan Day is almost off the circuit, and he is off the circuit into the barriers at turn number 1. The Israeli, the double former NASCAR Pro Champion, has got work to do there. He wasn't the only car to have had problems, because I think Ika Lacuona also had an issue. I think we have lost the driver I was going to go back to now. Mikael Smidl has left us, unfortunately, but we'll get a chance to chat to him later on over the course of the evening. It is Jeffrey Ruffin that has taken up the lead of the race. Ben Kriener in 2nd place. Andre Castro now down into 3rd position. And poor old Alan Day, Andre Weigold, has got a huge amount of work to do now. He is right the way down towards the tail end of the field. He's going to have to pick his way through. Blue and orange car of Davide Dallara begins to close in. We've still got just about 4 minutes of this to go still, so there's still plenty of time for positions to change. And has Andre Castro got a run this time on Ben Kriener, who seemed to be a little bit ragged through the S's on that occasion? Kriener's on the outside line in the braking area to the inner loop. Can he hang on to it? Yes, he can. He still hangs on to it. So it's still the Scotsman ahead of the American as we go on board with Andre Castro. There's contact between the pair of them. Does Ben Kriener get turned around? Well, he almost did, but he managed to save it. He got sideways. Castro still there in 3rd position. Bavo Fallon still in 4th place, and Davide Dallara with the best seat in the house, watching all of this unfold ahead of him, but getting caught also now from the cars behind us again, because Simon Palat is starting to close in, and the black car with the running there in 9th position currently. Former kart racer, Italian-born, but has lived in the United States for a very good number of years. Family are big olive oil distributors, and he is going to join the Club Challenge for 2020, and he's just going to pick up a place here as well, I would have thought. That is going to be position gains there. And that is there goes Jeffrey Ruffin. He claims heat number 2. Second position is just going to be Ben Kriener, almost bump drafted to the line by Andre Castro, who finished in 3rd position in the end at the wheel of the DF1 Racing Chevy. Great race from those two. Bavo Fallon has to settle for 4th place in the end. Davide Dallara in 5th place. And Simon Palat moves up into 6th place with Tobias Dionhauer in 7th position. Who just misses out? Alan Day just misses out on automatic qualification. We thought that he would do it, but that contact at the very minute race, again, just the top 10 automatically go through. So there's drivers that will need to work their socks off, I would have thought, to try and get themselves into contention, including the car that starts down in 13th position, 3 times a runner-up in the real NASCAR Wheel in Euro Series. Fred Gabillon, the Frenchman, has got work to do, as has off the back of the grid the German driver Justin Kuntz. So lights go out, we get the race underway. It is a good start from Guillaume de Flandre at the wheel of his Chevy, leads the charge up towards the 90, turn number 1. Loris Hazemans is there in 2nd position at this stage. Loris, remember, is the reigning EuroNASCAR Pro champion from last year. He sits 2nd in the race. Alessandro Brigatti is 3rd at the moment, so going well is Alessandro Brigatti, who we haven't seen huge amounts of this year so far in the E-Series, driving the Feed Vict Racing. Safe inside the top 4, really. Guillaume de Flandre just heading out of the final corner now. He is going to take the win. We heard from him earlier on, because he was the winner at Brands Hatch in the main event. He is the championship leader, and at the moment he is safely through with a heat win into the main event a little later on this evening. Loris Hazemans comes through and finishes in 2nd place, and Alessandro Brigatti, that is a good result for Alessandro Brigatti. He will be very pleased indeed with that one. And the rest of the cars just tickling their way over the start-finish line, including Alex Sedgwick. We'll get the race underway, and then we'll pick up with one of the drivers that's joined us in live commentary. And as the lights go out, Stefano Gustavalle is able to, I think, just about hang on to the lead of the race. Justin Kuntz was trying to work his way through. A little bit of contact, I think, there on the way into the corner. Alan Day gets pushed wide again at turn number 1. And I think that was initially Justin Kuntz made contact with Stefano Gustavalle. Then Stefano Gustavalle made contact with Alan Day. Gustavalle is now spinning backwards by the look of things up towards turn number 2 and turn number 3. But Alan Day has got yet more work to do. 15th position that he's running at the moment. Justin Kuntz, with all of that, has taken up the lead of the race, and Francisco Garisto has slotted his number 42 Racing Ford into 2nd position. Joining me in live commentary is Loris Hazemans, who is the reigning problems that he saw at race number 1, that saw him have to work his way from the back of the grid, just missed out on automatic qualification. He had problems at turn number 1 in this race, dropped all the way down towards 15th position. He is now up into 6th and is attacking for 5th position. Kasper Danovsik is the car that is very much in the sights of the double former champion. The Israeli draws himself to the right-hand side, and I don't think there's going to be a great deal that the Slovenian can do. He tries around the outside, but just gets pushed a little bit wide, gets out of shape on the exit of the corner. Alan Day is now almost 2 seconds to the good. Scott Jeffs coming under pressure for 3rd place as Alan Day dives his way up the inside. So another place gained for Alan Day. That now sees him up to 3rd. That would see him on the 17th. Francisco Garisto, who has come through the recruitment program of the NASCAR Wheel in Euro Series. We've seen him racing Formula 4 Championship single-seaters in Italy in the past. He's also raced in the Lotus Cup in Italy in more recent years, but he's going to have to give second best in this last chance qualification race to Justin Kuntz, who is going to head through over the start-finish line and score a victory by the look of things. Yet Justin Kuntz comes through, grabs the checkered flag, and that is going to see him as the driver that will line up on the inside of the 16th row of the grid for the main race as well. Yes, the 16th row of the grid that will see him line up for. So Justin Kuntz claims that this is a 30-minute race to bring the curtain down on our second championship evening of EuroNASCAR Esports Series racing. Lights go out, 30-minute race gets underway. Mikael Smidl leads the charge of the 36 cars up towards the 90 for the first time, turn number 1. Is everybody safely going to make it through? Lots of lagging on my screen. I can see some smoke, but I think they have... All right, okay, lots of lagging on my screen. Hopefully, when we get the pictures back again, we'll be able to pick up on exactly what has happened. Mikael Smidl was leading before we saw the problems. No, there's a big pile of cars down there at turn number 2 and turn number 3, and I think such is the scale and size of the incident that there aren't many cars that haven't been involved. Ben Kriener is involved. Unfortunately, Andre Castro is involved. We've still got Vladimir Tjoitzing the wrong way, and I do fear that the size of that accident may have been down to, if it was happening and you were seeing it back at home as well, the lag that was happening on the screen at the time just caught out lots of drivers. Mikael Smidl leads the race. Jeffrey Rufen fighting away with Lasse Sorensen for second position, but a raft of battered cars, including number 33 Ben Kriener, all working their way around the circuit with large amounts of damage. Remember, there's no reset in this, unlike the ENASCAR series that we see taking place each weekend, where drivers have the ability for a number of resets. There are no resets in this one, and unfortunately that damage is going to have to be carried through the race. Alex Sedgwick is already heading down pit road. Alan Day goes through. Chris Ricard is now down into what will be 10th position. We go back to Loris Hazemans. He's sitting there in 3rd place as things currently stand, sitting right behind Lasse Sorensen. Not that far ahead of Jeffrey Rufen either. So 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all very much within touching distance of each other. 3 of them separated by less than a second. And again, this is just playing beautifully into the hands of Mikael Smidl, who at the wheel of the Autodrome Most Showcar Toyota is disappearing up the road all of the time. 4 seconds up the road he is now, but he's going to get himself amongst some traffic now. There's back markers just up the road, so that will slow the progress of the race leader. But of course, these 3 cars now will also, in the next lap or so, have to try and work their way through. And there are the battered-looking cars heading in towards the braking area for the inner loop. I think one of them, number 91, which is Chris Ricard, is fighting away, and he's going to lose a place to Alex Fontana, who went thundering up the inside there and has taken the place away. So the Ford goes through and ahead of the Chevy there. Here's another good little fight that's going on as well. This is for place. The white car with the gold stripe is the American Eric Filgaras. Our cameras are keeping an eye on Bavo Fallon, who sits in the middle of that little pack of cars. Bavo Fallon has got Brian Crowells right behind him, and then Andre Castro, who is another quick driver, but you can see the damage to the front end of the number 122 rather, DF1 Racing Chevy. Another one of those that was involved in the incidents that damaged so many cars at the first couple of corners. To work his way through the traffic slightly more efficiently than Loris Hazemans was able to do, who just caught the traffic in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that has now dropped him away from the 2nd place car of Lasse Sorensen. Jeffrey Rufen is also looking to squeeze his way through the traffic as well. And you can see the OMV Max Motion NASCAR show of Most. Toyota Camry leads the race overall, and you can see the white car with the light green flashes to it just in the background of that shot there is Lasse Sorensen. 3.1 seconds is the gap as we enter the final third of the race. Here is the London-based Indian, Advait Dioda, running very wide. That's with another former EuroNASCAR 2 champion, that being the car of Ulysse Delceau. Ulysse Delceau was the 2018 EuroNASCAR 2 champion, and he is going to go past and gain the place on Davide Dallara there. So up to 7th for Ulysse Delceau. Needs to be careful he doesn't run wide though coming out of turn number 1, and I think he might have done that side by side through turns 2 and 3. They're still side by side, but Ulysse Delceau just is able to take the place away in the end. Might have taken him a couple of corners, but the Frenchman goes through and ahead of the Italian. So They've got Alan Day not that far behind them and closing in as well. It's the PK Car Sports Chevy through and ahead to gain the place over the Not Only Motorsport Chevy of Davide Dallara. For the moment, no is the answer. He hasn't quite got a good enough run coming down the straight. Is he going to try anything at turn number 6, Alan Day? He is. He's up the inside and he's taken the place away. Good run that into the penultimate corner for Alan Day. Another place gained, another championship point picked up. And that now means that he is running in 8th position, Alan Day, with Ulysse Delceau to victory for himself and the Autodrome Most Car Show Toyota, who have come through the heats cleanly with a pretty significant win, and is now looking as though he is going to have not quite as dominant, but still a good gap between himself and a great fight that's still raging behind him for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place between Sorensen, Hazemans and Jeffrey Ruffen. Now, I think he might get over the start-finish line with more than a lap time to go, Mikael Smidl. So the championship points. 2nd is going to go the way of Lasse Sorensen, who will finish in 2nd position. Very good championship points for him as he finishes in 2nd place. Loris Hazemans, who just missed out on the podium in the main race last week, comes through and finishes in 3rd position. 4th is going to go the way of Jeffrey Ruffen. 5th to Andreas Jochumsen and Lorenzo Marcucci. That's a good result for Lorenzo Marcucci, who will come home at the wheel of the Club Motorsport Chevy and finish in 6th position. So the rest of the cars all tricking their way over the start-finish line. Andre, we might have had a few technical issues, unfortunately, at the beginning of the main race, but it didn't detract from what has been a fantastic debut evening for Mikael Smidl in the EuroNASCAR E-Series.
Yeah, that's right. We have now, including the prologue, 3 different winners in 3 races. I think that's right now. I haven't turned on my calculator yet, but I think he might be the new championship leader after this event. And Alan Day, from the back of the field to 8th position, I think he will get the 4 bonus points when there was nobody under the radar who also gained a lot of spots. So we had a lot of stories in those races, in the heats, in the last chance qualifier, and also in this main event. So for me, it was a very spectacular event again. Little bit of too much crashing on the starts. I think this was the most crucial part of the races.